Hello and welcome to the Untitled Car Show. I'm your host, Ike. Let's see. Today, doing another mobile recording. Personal life, professional life outside of doing the podcast has been hectic, so I apologize for that. I think I said last week we're going to get back to a regular schedule this week, and I again missed the Monday episode, and I'm recording the Friday episode late. I think I'm going to move the Friday episodes from now on until Saturday for the foreseeable future. Still try and put out a Monday episode. Well, we'll see. So, again, it's Friday here in the district. Going in, going into the district to do some work. And the BW Parkway, as always, has traffic on it on Friday, which I get. People are trying to get down south in the summer to go to beaches. I don't know why. If it's warm where you're at, go to the beach there. I don't know why you need to drive down to the Outer Banks, or because you're either going to the Outer Banks or you're going to Virginia Beach. If you're driving south from here. So, it's a lot of New York plates, it's a lot of New Jersey plates, which just boggles my mind. It's like, why are you all headed south from where you're at? There's beaches there. Anyway, it's not the point. Someone brought up a good point. So there's two types of people in the world, like little goofy map thing. And it was like, the guy who gets to 3/4 of a tank is like, oh my God, I need to get fuel. And the person where it's sitting on E, and it's like, I got this. I very much used to be the, I can't let this car get below a quarter tank. I got to get gas. Because I did a lot of highway commuting, and I would get very paranoid about it. Now, I think the worst thing that's happened to me is the Fiesta and a lot of my other cars have had a miles till empty meter. So right now I'm in the car, it says I got 299 miles till I'm out of gas. I tend to, at least once a week, end up where I'll be 20 miles from home and 19 miles till empty. And I'm like, let me see if I can make it. So less than a half mile from where I live, there's a gas station. So I'm always like, I can make up a half mile if I really try. Which is fun. It's stressful, but in a fun way. I know it's not good for the car. It's, killing the fuel pump and probably picking up all sorts of sediment. But, yeah, I don't know. I got no good excuse for it. I know better, but I still do it. So I'm curious what everyone out there in podcast land is. So there's that. Someone brought up, they were on the show, they were a guest, and then after we got off recording, they're like, hey, I know you've been having some health issues recently, I just want to know if there's an update or anything. I'm like, you know what, that's a good point, I really haven't updated, health issues, everything that was going on. So, being 30, they stopped trying to fix shit that's wrong with you, and just kind of go, yeah, that's going to be your life from now on, so, have at it. It's basically, there's a joint pain issue, which is a big thing, and then, but they put me on a medication, it's helping me out with that, and most of it is subsided. There's still, pain that should be pain, but it's a nerve issue, so it's kind of like, how doped up do you want to be versus how, aware of life do you have to be. So it's not a huge issue. It's just kind of like, here's something to take away a little bit of the pain, which makes it dealable and workable. And it's gone to the point where I can, no longer have an issue. Flip side of that, the other issue was hiatal hernia, which apparently is fairly common in men. basically your stomach, like sphincter, the one on top, like that closes. Part of the stomach pushes up through that, which is not pleasant. Um, so they gave me a pill for that that takes care of that issue. Not like, oh, it takes away the hernia, but it's like, well, basically you're going to have to be on antacids for the rest of your life so you don't burn out your esophagus, which is fine because there's no more real pain. Although I'll say this, if you ever watch Rick and Morty and Rick Sanchez is always burping all the time, that's my life now. It's just kind of constantly gassy because everything that happens in the stomach just comes straight up because there's nothing really closing off the entrance. So there's that, which sucks, but it's under control. So that's kind of the health update is. It was, I don't know if scary is the right word, but it was disconcerting because everything was kind of happening and kind of making it all kind of happened at once, which maybe one was because of the other or whatever, or maybe I was ignoring something which caused something else to happen. Anyway, it all kind of came to a head around the same time. Thank God, health insurance and all that. Able to figure it out, get it fixed. And like I said, at this age, you just kind of go, here's some medicine, just deal with it. It's kind of like being an old car where they go like, well, you can try and fix it, but if you fix it, it might just break it permanently, or, just put some stop leak in it and just deal with it. So that's kind of, I feel like medicine is kind of just the stop leak of life. Like, yeah, you can fix it, but it's going to be very expensive, and who knows if it'll actually solve the issue. So just pour some, stop leak in it, or just wrap it up with some duct tape and call it a life. So I kind of feel like I've entered the old car age of life, which isn't the worst thing. It's not, hey, you are debilitated or whatever for the rest of your life or anything. It's very mild on a grand scheme of things. It's very, the only thing is, like, I've always had a very solid core and always been able to eat whatever the hell I want to eat. Like, it freaked out some of my coworkers because I never had gefilte fish before in my life, and I tried it for the first time in the middle of the day job when we were nowhere near a bathroom or a toilet or anything. It's like, you're going to try something that historically gives people the shits, and you're going to try it in the middle of your workday? Yeah, good luck with that. That was fine. Like, I could eat anything and never have an issue. Now I have, like, the world's weakest stomach. So I used to have a core I could trust and depend on, and, now I feel a little betrayed by my stomach, but it's not the worst thing. So, and it's a little upsetting because it kind of means there's limitations to what I can do in life, but at this point I should have become accustomed to that. Like, I was having the thought of, like, I can never go to space now. I'm like, really, Ike? Like, you're boy. Like, I think that ship has sailed at this point. Like, it's just silly stuff like that. So, that's where I'm at with that. So flipping off of the health issues to kind of more positive news. The other night, I was tinkering with the engine for the Audi that goes into Volvo in front of a Nissan transmission. Anyway, so I was playing around with that. Got it up into place. I got to fab up some engine mounts, but right now it's suspended in the engine bay above the cross pillar. So the cross pillar's up in place. The engine's basically sitting where it needs to go. There was a Nissan NSX stuck in stop-and-go traffic on the other side of the road, which that kind of sucks, but is awesome to see. Anyway, so black, too, like it in black. Old one, not a new one. So the engine's in place, which means now I can get to, grabbing some parts for it, getting everything working and running, hopefully, knock on wood. everything kind of works. Little fusion, why are you coming in my lane? Uh, so it's in place, which means I can start working on fabbing up the engine mounts. That's job one. After the engine mounts are in, I'm going to get the fuel system pumped up. I don't know if that comes through. The Waze is speaking to me. Um, so after I get the engine mounts in place and I get everything fabbed up for those, I'm going to get the thing plumbed up. I still need to get the injectors and the ECU are the big things. And I think, unfortunately, I threw away some things I needed from the Volvo to transfer onto the Audi motor. They use the same type of pulley, so I can use the same power steering pump, which is great, which means I don't have to fab up something new for that. I can just put that on, it'll bolt up into place. I just need to get a pulley. I need to get an alternator pulley that'll work. I have an alternator that'll work with it, but I need to get a pulley that'll work. So, just gotta go scour through some junkyards, get something that works. And what's nice is it actually, the way it leans into the engine, it'll make working on all the accessories and the ignition system and everything very easy to get to. The mechanical fuel injection sits in a perfect location where I can mount it up to the intercooler and it'll be working like a gem. So there's that aspect of it. I'm very happy that it's all kind of coming together the way it is. And hopefully I get it in, get it working, and can get out there and get it running. It is still kind of a crapshoot if it's going to, run. Hopefully it does. It came out of a vehicle that was being set up for racing, so hopefully they did their due diligence. The rotating assembly spins pretty freely. I sprayed some WD-40 into it, or not WD-40, what it actually, PB Blaster, sprayed it into it, put a ratchet on it, not even a breaker bar, spun it, it spun freely. I'm going to hit it again when it comes to that. So I got to get the starter working with it, wire it up. The thing I got to find is a temp sensor, but that's kind of last, thing to worry about because the engine will run at a default setting until I get that temp sensor sorted. So at that point, I should be good. The other issue, let me see here. That's basically it. And then I just got to get a adapter plate, which is good because the way the engine sits in there, I was going to have to adapt the plate anyway, just so I could make the transmission sit at the proper orientation to the motor. So I'm going to have to get the adapter plate, get the transmission working, go out and find a new clutch to get it to work with the Audi clutch, or get the transmission to work with the Audi flywheel. So I'm very excited. It's kind of coming together a lot better than the Nissan Micra was. I'm getting close to the point where I'm going to be getting into super congested DC traffic. So I'm going to end the episode here. Stay tuned for more episodes. I'm hoping to put out, like I said, back to normal schedule hopefully next week as long as everything kind of calms down. So we'll see. I want to thank everyone for kind of sticking with it, listening to these episodes when they do come out. I know it's frustrating when the episodes don't come out on time because if you have a routine and you like listening to me jibber jabber on a specific time and a specific day and I don't put it out, I know that's frustrating. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Wow, that's loud, the thing. So thanks everyone so much for listening. Have a good night. Have a good evening. Wherever you are, whatever time it is there. Thank you so much for listening. please be safe out there.